The 1980s pushed science fiction boundaries beyond what censors could handle. These films sparked government bans, religious protests, and mass walkouts. Some directors faced career destruction, while others created underground classics. Here's why these movies terrified authorities worldwide. Drrome, 1983. David Cronenberg's body horror masterpiece about a TV executive who discovers a signal that causes brain tumors and violent hallucinations. James Woods plays Max Wren, whose reality becomes increasingly distorted as he's exposed to the mysterious Drrome transmission. Censors worldwide demanded massive cuts. The UK banned it for 7 years. Australia refused classification entirely. The film's grotesque imagery of televisions growing from stomachs and videotapes inserted into body cavities horrified rating boards. What terrified authorities wasn't just the body horror, it was the film's message about media control. Drrome suggested that whoever controlled television could literally reprogram human minds and bodies. Critics dismissed it as meaningless gore, missing Cronenberg's prophetic warnings about technology's impact on humanity. The film that was once banned as too extreme now feels like documentary footage about our relationship with screens. The Thing, 1982. John Carpenter's paranoid masterpiece about a shape-shifting alien was savaged by critics and banned in several countries. The film depicts Antarctic researchers being infiltrated by an extraterrestrial that perfectly mimics anyone it encounters. Religious groups condemn the film's graphic imagery. Finland banned it for depicting excessive violence against the human form. The infamous chest-bursting and head spider scenes caused walkouts worldwide. Censors couldn't categorize Rob Bottin's grotesque practical effects. What makes The Thing truly controversial is its theme of distrust and paranoia. The characters can't tell who's human anymore, creating suffocating suspicion. In our era of deepfakes and misinformation, these themes feel prophetically relevant. The film, once dismissed as nihilistic trash, is now considered a masterpiece. Extro, 1982. This British sci-fi horror film about alien abduction and bodily transformation was banned in multiple countries for its extreme imagery. A father returns after 3 years of alien captivity, but he's fundamentally changed. The movie's most controversial sequence involves an alien birth scene so graphic it was cut from most international releases. A woman gives birth to a full-grown man covered in slime, creating one of cinema's most disturbing moments. Religious groups condemned it as blasphemous mockery of human birth. Extro's low budget actually enhanced its disturbing impact. The cheap, grimy aesthetic made everything feel more realistic and threatening. The alien effects looked genuinely otherworldly rather than polished, adding to the film's unsettling atmosphere. Horror fans appreciated its willingness to push boundaries that mainstream films wouldn't cross. Threads, 1984. This BBC nuclear war film was considered too realistic and terrifying for public broadcast. Set in Sheffield, England, Threads depicts the aftermath of nuclear attack with unflinching brutality. The film shows radiation sickness, societal collapse, and humanity's regression to medieval conditions. Multiple countries banned Threads for being too depressing and psychologically harmful. The film's realistic portrayal of nuclear winter and radiation effects was deemed too accurate by government officials. Some feared it would inspire nuclear panic or anti-war protests. The movie's scientific accuracy made it especially disturbing. Medical consultants ensured the radiation sickness scenes were clinically correct. The depiction of electromagnetic pulse effects and infrastructure collapse felt like a government training film rather than entertainment. The BBC delayed the broadcast for months, fearing public reaction. When finally aired, it traumatized British audiences. Scanners, 1981, Cronenberg's telepathic thriller featuring exploding heads, became instantly notorious worldwide. The film follows a scanner named Cameron Vale who discovers a conspiracy involving mind-reading abilities and pharmaceutical corporations. The famous head explosion scene 15 minutes into the film shocked audiences and censors alike. Religious groups condemned scanners for promoting occult powers and psychic phenomena. Several nations cut the explosion sequences entirely, rendering plot points incomprehensible. The practical effects by Dick Smith were so realistic that some countries investigated whether real cadavers were used. The movie's influence on horror and sci-fi was immediate and lasting. The scanner stare before someone's head explodes became an iconic image. Despite censorship attempts, underground video copies circulated widely, cementing the film's cult status. Society, 1989. Brian Yuzna's class warfare horror disguised as sci-fi depicts wealthy elites as literal parasites who consume the poor. The film's climactic shunting sequence features body horror so extreme that multiple countries banned it entirely. The movie's political message was too direct for comfort. Society suggested that class differences weren't metaphorical. The rich were actually a different species feeding on the poor. This felt dangerously subversive during an era of increasing wealth inequality. Censors struggled with the film's combination of social satire and extreme body horror. The practical effects showed human bodies melting and reshaping in ways that defied conventional categories. Despite limited release, Society gained underground popularity through video distribution. Horror fans appreciated its willingness to combine political commentary with genuinely shocking imagery. Altered States, 1980. Ken Russell's psychedelic sci-fi about a scientist who experiments with sensory deprivations and hallucinogenic drugs was banned in several countries for promoting drug use. William Hurt plays a researcher who uses isolation tanks and psychoactive substances to explore altered consciousness. The film's graphic depiction of drug-induced hallucinations concerned authorities worried about promoting substance abuse. Russell's surreal imagery of genetic regression and consciousness expansion felt dangerous to conservative groups who saw it as encouraging drug experimentation. Altered States pushed visual boundaries with groundbreaking special effects that depicted consciousness itself. The hallucination sequences combined practical effects with innovative photography to create genuinely otherworldly imagery. Despite censorship, the film influenced later movies, exploring consciousness and reality through its blend of hard science fiction with mystical themes. Possession, 1981. Andrzej Żuławski's psychological horror about a disintegrating marriage and monstrous birth was banned in multiple countries for its extreme imagery and political themes. Isabelle Adjani's performance as a woman, giving birth to a tentacled creature while her marriage collapses, created one of cinema's most disturbing experiences. The film's graphic scenes of self-mutilation and monstrous birth horrified censors worldwide. Adjani's famous subway breakdown scene, where she thrashes and bleeds while miscarrying something inhuman, was cut from most international releases. Possession's political allegory about divided Berlin made authorities uncomfortable. The film was seen as criticism of both Eastern and Western political systems during the height of Cold War tensions. The monster represented the psychological damage caused by political division. The movie's combination of domestic drama with cosmic horror created an unsettling experience that defied genre classification. The Evil Dead, 1981. Sam Raimi's ultra-violent horror debut about college students possessed by demons was banned in multiple countries for its graphic violence and supernatural themes. The film's relentless gore and disturbing imagery shocked audiences expecting typical horror entertainment. Religious groups condemned The Evil Dead for its depiction of demonic possession and violence against women. The movie's low budget enhanced its disturbing impact. The grainy handheld camera work made everything feel more realistic and threatening. Britain's Video Nasty Panic specifically targeted The Evil Dead as harmful to viewers. The film was banned for several years and became a symbol of censorship debates. Underground video copies circulated widely, cementing its cult status. Despite initial censorship, The Evil Dead spawned successful sequels and proved that controversial cinema could eventually find mainstream acceptance. Deadly Spawn, 1983. This low-budget alien invasion film was banned for its graphic depictions of creatures consuming human victims. The movie features extraterrestrial parasites that crash land and begin devouring a suburban community. The practical effects showing people being eaten alive shocked censors worldwide. The film's extreme gore was created on a minimal budget using creative practical effects. The alien creatures were designed to be genuinely disturbing, with multiple rows of teeth and insatiable appetites for human flesh. The death scenes were graphic enough to warrant bans in several countries. The Deadly Spawn gained cult status through underground horror circles. Fans appreciated its commitment to practical effects and willingness to show graphic violence that mainstream films avoided. Despite limited theatrical release, the film influenced later creature features and demonstrated that innovative low-budget filmmaking could create memorable horror experiences. Cannibal Holocaust, 1980. Ruggero Deodato's found footage horror about documentary filmmakers in the Amazon was banned worldwide for its realistic violence and actual animal killings. The film was so convincing that Deodato was arrested on murder charges until the actors appeared in court. The movie's graphic depictions of rape, torture, and cannibalism shocked international audiences. Multiple countries banned it permanently. The combination of real animal deaths with simulated human violence created an intensely disturbing viewing experience. The movie's critique of media exploitation was lost amid controversy over its graphic content. Deodato intended to comment on Western civilization's brutality, but the extreme imagery overshadowed any social message. Despite worldwide bans, Cannibal Holocaust influenced horror cinema and achieved legendary status through underground distribution. Strange Invaders, 1983. Michael Laughlin's alien invasion film about extraterrestrials who have secretly occupied a small town for 25 years was banned in several countries for its disturbing imagery of human-alien hybrids and body horror elements. The movie follows a professor searching for his missing wife in a Midwestern town where aliens have replaced the human population. The creatures maintain human appearances, but occasionally reveal their true grotesque forms, creating unsettling practical effects. The film's retro 1950s aesthetic combined with modern special effects created a unique visual style that influenced later sci-fi horror. Despite limited theatrical release, Strange Invaders gained cult status through home video distribution and appreciation for its innovative approach to invasion narratives. Shocking, Dark, 1989. This Italian Aliens ripoff was banned for copyright infringement and extreme violence. The film blatantly copied James Cameron's designs while adding graphic gore that exceeded the original's intensity. Legal challenges prevented wide distribution. The movie's shameless plagiarism combined with excessive violence created a unique viewing experience. The filmmakers copied Aliens' plot while amplifying the gore to shocking levels. The result was simultaneously familiar and disturbing. Despite legal problems, Shocking Dark gained underground popularity among fans of exploitation cinema. The movie's brazen copying of successful films while pushing violence to extreme levels created an oddly compelling viewing experience. The film demonstrated how controversial cinema could emerge from legal gray areas and international distribution loopholes. The Apple, 1980, Menahem Golan's disco musical about a dystopian future controlled by music industry executives, was banned in several countries for its religious imagery and anti-establishment themes. The film depicts a world where a record company has become a totalitarian government. The movie's combination of religious allegory with disco music created a bizarre viewing experience that censors couldn't classify. The film's depiction of corporate control over society felt too subversive for conservative audiences. The film's camp aesthetics and over-the-top performances created a unique cult following. Audiences appreciated its willingness to combine serious themes with outrageous musical numbers and costumes. Despite initial rejection, The Apple gained status as a cult classic through midnight screenings and home video distribution. The Final Conflict, 1981. The third Omen film depicting the adult Antichrist's rise to power was banned in several countries for its blasphemous religious imagery and graphic violence. Damien Thorne becomes a powerful politician while orchestrating the slaughter of newborn children to prevent Christ's second coming. Religious groups worldwide condemn the film's depiction of Satan as a charismatic leader and its graphic scenes of infant murder. The movie's suggestion that evil could triumph over good felt too subversive for conservative audiences. Several countries cut the child-killing sequences entirely or banned the film outright. The Final Conflict's anti-Christian themes and apocalyptic imagery were deemed psychologically harmful and spiritually dangerous by religious authorities and government censors alike. These 15 films pushed boundaries that society wasn't ready to cross. Their bans only increased their underground appeal, proving that controversial cinema often becomes tomorrow's cult classics. Subscribe for more forbidden film history.